Welcome back. It's art time class. Today I'm joined by Buddy the Bird, and we are going to show you how to make a 3D origami pop-up star. This is a great project if you want to make a ornament like a Christmas tree. If you want to make like a secret note, like you open up each section and it's got like a different message or a different note inside. So there's quite a few things you can do with this. You could also leave it flat to make it look more like a book, and I'll show you more of that as we create ours. To start, you're going to need some scissors, glue, and paper. For this, I have an 8.5 by 11 sheet of plain copy paper, but different types of paper will work. I recommend this type for beginners. And you're going to need to make squares, and you're going to need several squares. For our example, we're going to use 3 at least, but you want to use 5, 7. I mean, you could use more. I've had a student do over a dozen, over 12 of these and make a really, really thick one. It's totally up to you. Okay. To make our squares, you're going to need to take your corner piece and fold it over here to the edge. Using a finger up here at the top can help you make a nice point. Some students won't bring it far enough down and you'll leave this. You don't want that. You want there to be a point up here. So use a finger and bring that down a little farther to get a nice point. Once you fold that over, you can cut off this end piece, this edge. When you are using your scissors, be sure to have your scissors pointed in front of you. Never point them towards yourself or have them like up in the air, turned to the side or something. So my scissors opened and closed and my paper came towards me. My scissors weren't like up here, pointed in a weird direction. Okay. Use that strip for something else later. You could also make smaller squares if you wanted to make a smaller version of this. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and use these squares I have cut out ready for us. You're going to need to fold your paper. When you're folding it, you need your folds to face a certain direction. That's super important for this project. So to start, I'm going to do point to point. I can go fold up, or I can fold down. It's up to you, but you're going to fold point to point. Okay. Make your folds really nice. It's super helpful when you're doing this. If your folds are in the right direction, if you fold them, press down really hard, it's going to help this a lot. Okay. Let me show you another example where I'm not pressing down on the fold as much. All right, so it's not as crisp of a fold. You can see that difference. Okay. Next, what I'm going to do is open up my paper and I'm going to fold point to point again. So I'm going to do this one, really nice crease. So my paper should have something like this. It should be able to spin. At this point, if I have some students struggling or maybe they didn't do their folds correctly, if they did their folds correctly, I'll tell them, okay, you should be able to spin your paper. Go ahead and write your name and spin your paper. See how long you can get your paper to spin like a top. All right, so while I'm getting other students to get this fold, because some of them, they might fold and then fold. Don't do that. You have to fold and open and then fold. That's super important. And most kindergartners and first graders and second graders even, they miss that step of opening up. That's super important. So even this one isn't as folded as nicely. And you can see that when the papers, you can see how this one pops up more. It's just popping up more. All right, so at this point, we're going to fold our papers from edge to edge. And see how these are pointing up? I'm going to have the folds go in the opposite direction when I'm folding edge to edge. Okay, let's see if I can. Buddy, are you about to poop on me? It looks like he's about to poop. That's okay. It's okay, buddy. I know. All right. So here I have, well, I talked about directions of folds. So you see how this is folding up towards you, and now this is folding down towards the table. That direction is super important. It has to alternate directions. Okay. Again, I'm folding really nice on those creases. Okay, so I should have something that can do this. Reminds students of like a fortune teller. But we're actually going to fold it so it's this way. And we need a bunch of these. Okay, this is what we're creating. You can do a lot of origami once you get this figured out. And it can take some students all of elementary school to really figure out how to do that. These folds and get their folds to face a certain direction. So if you're struggling with this, that's totally normal. Okay, so here's the other one I did. Now I didn't fold my creases as nicely. So this one, see how it's folding down really well? This one kind of wants to open up on me. And that's okay, I can just push it down. When you get really good at this, you can actually go faster by folding more than one sheet of paper at once. You can layer your papers. And let's say I do the side to side together first this time. So I fold that, open it, fold that, open it. Now I'm going to change directions. I don't want to fold in this way. I want to fold it in the other direction. I keep saying direction. I hope this makes sense, guys. I know that's really hard to follow. This is really hard for a lot of elementary students. So that direction of folds, the way it points, is super duper important. Okay. So here I've created this, and I have two because I folded them at the same time together. I'm going back over the creases to really push that down. So let me show you the wrong way, because a lot of students at home are going to fold and then fold, and they're going to be like, oh, I need to open it now. And they're going to fold and fold, and then they're going to like, oh, I need to open it now. And everyone else who did the folds in the correct direction, who like really listened to that opening, they're going to be able to fold this in easily. It's going to like go into its shape easily. And this is going to be, they're like, it's not doing it. It's going to be hard. Your folds, and I talk to them, I'm like, your folds are all in the right spot, but they're not pointed in the right direction. And I really talk about like, see how that's a point? See how that's pointing up? Well, this one's also pointed up. You want this one to point down. So let's just change the direction. You see how that's pointed up now? You see how that's pointing down? That, and then I'll show them mine. That's what you want. Up, down, up, down, up, down. And we usually practice like an origami fold, or we'll practice, you know, a project where we have to fold in different directions. That's the origami or the zigzag fold. All right, so now that I have this, we're going to glue these together. And you want them laying flat, like fat little squares. And you see the center point versus all of these points. You want their center points to line up, okay? Or you could do opposite on purpose. Let's do opposite on purpose to see what it makes. Because you see what it's going to make if I do all the points in the center. You have all these fun pieces, all those fun pieces coming out, sticking out. Let me show you what happens if you do something a little different. Because you can make more than one thing with this. Oh, let's see my glue. Open this up. All right, here, air is going to work. So I use a dot of glue. That's too much. That's too much glue. It's all right. Just smear it really well. I'm going to smear it really, really well so that your glue is like transparent. See, I'm getting some on the table. That's okay. It's okay when you're doing that with art. Especially this glue wipes away with water. I don't even need soap. Though soap helps. Soap makes it clean up faster. And again, I'm going to glue this. Get that extra glue. So that when I open it, and I'll tell students, all right, practice opening it. Because most students, I'll do another one. Smear, smear, smear. Let's line up the corners. That folded corner piece, so they got the craziness happening over here. And I'll tell students, like, open it up, check to see. Is it opening the way you want it to open? Okay. Let's do another one. So let's do this one here. And this one is the opposite. So I'm going to put that facing this direction. I always like press and hold for a sec. I don't know if y'all see that. I'm like using this part of my hand and like I'm ironing it down almost. So open this up. Oh, cool. I could write notes or a cool message and then fold this up and say like to, from, and hand it to them, and they'd be like, what's going on here? What? Turn it over. What? Cool. Or we could, let's see. We could have something like this where it's all in the one center point, and when we open it up, it's going to make like a cool star for us. And that's what this one has. It's got lots of them in it. So when you open it up, it creates like this cool star effect. Ooh. So very fun, and there really is so much you can do with this type of fold. The 3D star, pop-up star idea is just one idea, okay? And I've seen students, like, they'll cut like they're doing like a snowflake. Like they'll do a cool design off the edges and do a 3D snowflake. You could totally do that. Let's do like this shape here. So I'm just cutting off shapes off the edges. Let's cut off the corner. That will always looks cool when you cut the corners off. But you always got to leave that folded edge. Always leave that folded edge there. Okay. And like that makes like a 3-dimensional snowflake. I know, right? Like, so cool. Like, if you do a lot of layers, though, it does get hard to cut. So just be careful and safe with that. And be sure to keep all of your pieces neat so you can clean up your area and keep it nice and neat. But this is such a cool idea. Like, I could write a cool message. Hope. Love. Family. Kindness. Oh, and I could decorate that or draw pictures or something. Oh, that would be so cool. It says, what I like. I could turn this into like a cool book and decorate it. And when you open it up, it's like, what? I like hope and love and family and kindness. Oh, it's up to you. There's so much you could do to decorate it. Be sure to send me a picture if you're able to. Till next time, keep being creative. What do you think, buddy? You like it?